Hi, this is Carol Pope.
Hi, I'm Kevin Staples.
And you're listening to Rainbow Country
with Mark Terra.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the persons appearing on the program.
Today on Rainbow Country, American queer recording artist Nicky Buell joins me to talk about his 2021 EP, Spongy Emerald Prince. That and more coming up on episode 289, so stay tuned for Gay Talk Radio right here on Rainbow Country.
Hello, my name is Conchita.
And I'm Barbecue.
And my name is Hardcora. And we are the Beat Girls.
You're listening to
Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
Well, hello and welcome to a brand new journey through Rainbow Country. As I like to call it, a little gay radio show working to give voice to the LGBT community and beyond. And as always, I am your tour guide through Rainbow Country. I'm producer and host, Mark Tara. By the way, Rainbow Country originates from CIUT-FM in Toronto, and now proudly in syndication on 12 outlets across Canada, from coast to coast to coast. So, from the Yukon to British Columbia, to the prairies, Saskatchewan and Manitoba, the east coast of Canada, in Newfoundland, Ontario, even down to Buffalo, New York, and online. Well, thanks to you tuning in, streaming, downloading, but ultimately listening. Together, we continue to build Rainbow Country into a nationally syndicated gay radio show, a #1 LGBT podcast on Podomatic.com's Gay and Lesbian chart, and being recognized as Canada's #2 LGBT podcast on Feedspot.com. So today, Spongy Emerald Prince is his 2021 EP. Joining me on this episode is American queer recording artist Nicky Buell, who will talk about his music, his coming out story, and so much more. Plus an hour two. Music from LGBT artists, independent artists, voices that we've come to know and love in classic disco, classic 80s, classic house, and on this episode I'm featuring some classic funk, a 3-song set from Swedish artist Agnes, as well as indie artist Teruse, plus a spotlight on LGBT artists Arlen Godwin and Richard Martin. So when I return, we find out about Spongy Emerald Prince.
Bill 7, to ban discrimination in employment, government services, and housing, based on a person's sexual orientation, was up for a vote at Queen's Park. Most NDP and Liberal MPPs supported the bill, but without some progressive conservative legislators backing, a divisive split could rack the province. 4 PCs decided to break party ranks to vote with their conscience and support Bill 7. Cabinet Minister and MPP Dennis Timbrell did it to show solidarity for his beloved brother, the well-known drag queen Rusty Ryan. And for me, a gay politician who was not yet out, I had to take a stand. We were known as the Gang of Four. I'm former Cabinet Minister and MPP Phil Gillies. The date, December 2nd, 1986, when LGBT rights came to Ontario.
Hi, I'm Eric Radford, Olympic and world champion figure skater, pianist, and composer, and you're listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Terra.
Nicky Buell, hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for being here to have your voice, your story be heard by the LGBT community and beyond, Nicky. So thank you for that. You are based in Seattle?
Yes, I am. Seattle, Washington.
So let's just talk about COVID-19, this global pandemic that we're living through. At least up here in Canada, like our numbers are getting better. For yourself, as we're recording this interview, how has the scene been in Seattle?
You know, it's actually been really interesting because I actually so the music scene in Seattle's been really interesting. Obviously, shows weren't going on for a long time. So, you know, as an independent artist, especially like locally based in like Seattle or like smaller towns, you know, it's really important to, you know, do shows and network and stuff like that. But it's interesting because I actually started releasing music January 2021, which is, so we're coming up on a year now of just like releasing music and, you know, officially being a recording artist. It's been interesting because I am a COVID baby. I am a COVID artist. So it was all virtual for me when I was releasing. So I wasn't worrying about shows. I was only worrying about like marketing and advertising, like online, on Instagram, through Toned In. But now that, you know, numbers are getting better, you know, I think like 80% of Seattle's vaccinated. I think Seattle's actually has the highest percentage of fully vaxxed people actually. So it's getting better up here in Seattle. You know, it's been a ride, but now that, you know, things are slowly coming back to normal, I'm really excited to start performing for everyone.
So let's talk about 2021 and an EP or album of yours, Spongy Emerald Prince. Mm-hmm. This title, Spongy Emerald Prince. What is the story behind this title?
You know, it's really funny. So my best friend Shay, she is just like a word genius, really. And she just always just says the most peculiar things. And one day we were together and she's like, "You're my Spongy Emerald Prince." And I just was like, I don't know, it hit a bell with me. And I was like, okay, I'm writing that down. So I wrote it down in my notes. And like a week later, during this process, I was like recording music. During like a week later, I was like, I think I'm gonna name my EP Spongy Emerald Prince. And really, there's no real meaning behind it besides it was something that like it felt special to me because she called me. It's funny and it was sweet. And I texted her, I'm like, that's going to be my album name. And she's like, oh, okay. So that's the origin.
So this record, this EP, this album, how would you describe the sound of this record?
So, I mean, it's a lot of upbeat pop, you know, in a minor key. I would say electro poppy, especially like the first single, Lunatic, and you know, leads into Moon Boy. It was pretty much just the triumphs of, you know, me being really the album's about me being like an openly gay man. Sonically, I would say the sounds, you know, upbeat pop, and then towards the end it gets a little more melancholy and sad. Oh,
a sad little Spongy Emerald.
Yeah.
So the music industry has changed so much. And now you can make a record, a single, an album in one's bedroom.
Yep.
For yourself, what type of artist do you see, or would you consider yourself? Do you think of yourself as more as a singles-based artist? Are you looking to release albums and out of those then spawn the singles? What type of artist would you say that you consider yourself to be?
Definitely. I mean, I would say both. I've been focused on singles since I am a new artist. And my EP was, you know, I just wanted to get one EP out there. I am actually working on another project right now. The goal is, though, I mean, at least if I get signed or in a management deal or something like that, where I can start releasing albums and like financially just not really be worried about anything because I am independent. that's like the biggest concern. But yeah, no, I would say I centralize them both singles and albums for sure. I got some things in the works.
So this record, this EP, this album, Spongy Emerald Prince, has 7 tracks on it. 7 tracks seems a lot to be on an EP, an extended play. Is this for you an EP, or is this an album with 7 tracks?
It is classified by distribution a album. I classify it as my debut EP.
And why? Why the difference then?
I would say, like it felt like I wanted to release like an EP, at least the way I would like to, classify it as an EP before I release an album. I mean, my ultimate goal was, right, I have singles, EP drop, my first EP, and then my first album. So that's where I'm going for. Even the distribution, it was one song shy from being classified as an EP technically by distribution. I will still classify it as that.
And so for you, do you see a difference between an EP and an album then?
I do see that. Yeah, there can be difference. I mean, you can have a concept. You can have a concept EP. You can have a concept album. I had a concept with mine. It wasn't too literal. It was a general experience of being like an openly gay man, and like my triumphs through that and everything I've experienced. But I've seen a lot of albums be very specific and have specific meanings. So
yeah, it's concept albums
for sure. Yeah.
So one of the singles on your EP, Spongy Emerald Prince, I kind of like saying that name.
Isn't it fun?
It's very spongy.
Right. It's fun. It just rolls off the tongue.
Moon Boy. Talk to me about this track, Moon Boy, and what this track is all about.
Yeah. So Moon Boy was a fun song to write. I think that was like the fourth-ish pop song I've ever written. So at the time I was talking to a boy, and I loved him. I thought I was falling in love with him at least. So I thought I was falling in love with him, and I saw my piano, and I was like, I saw this like TikTok about like it was really weird. I saw this TikTok about like it was this like whole thing about moons and how like moons are like tied with like different signs is like their emotions essentially. It was astrology. And I had gotten on the piano and I was just writing a chord progression. And I was like, oh, I'm going to write about X, which was whatever, we'll say his name is X. And I started writing the song and I started writing, I'm like, oh, moon. And then I was like, I thought about moons. I'm like, he's my moon boy. And then I was like, okay, we have the idea planted. And then I just wrote the song that was about me meeting a man on the moon. It was galactic, it was upbeat and fun. And that's really how the song came about.
And the music video for this, was this shot on a smart device and a phone?
It was not. It was shot. I intentionally wanted it vertical.
Okay.
I've always liked artists doing vertical videos. It was definitely something I wanted to do once I started making music videos. And working with girl band, it was Gemma Cross at the time. It was just her. But now Girl Band Productions, their whole production team, she did a phenomenal job. I mean, I love that video. It has a lot of good, memories to it. It was very fun to shoot as well. I was wearing a spacesuit and, I was a super secret agent at one point. I had my friends dress up with me as super secret agents. It was a fun time.
So shooting this music video vertically, that's a new thing, yeah?
I would say it's newer, yeah, for sure. The first person I saw do it was Billie Eilish. Well, I can't even remember what video. I think it was You Should See Me in a Crown. She did a vertical video for it. I believe that is the single that she did it for. I loved it. I just thought it was really cool and different, and I just wanted to I wanted to do it. So I did. I don't plan on doing another one. We'll see. But as of right now, I mean, I wanted to try it. I wanted to release it, and I did.
And you did. And it looks great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm your moon boy, you're galactic.
So you mentioned this before. You started releasing music in 2021. What prompted you to start releasing music, to start recording your songs and putting them out there into the world?
It was kind of self-prompted. I also was inspired by my friend Anna Thompson. I don't know if you've listened to her music at all, but she's like my best friend. She also makes really good pop music. She's super talented, but it was a really interesting time in my life. I was going through a lot of the time. I just came out to my family, my mother. I had just came out to my closer friends. I just had gone through like a huge heartbreak, and I was dating. So there's a lot of things I was doing for the first time and things that I was experiencing. I really wanted to write something. I really needed to get like my experiences out there, and I did. And the first I wrote, also about hookup, which was Thirsty. I don't know if you've listened to that single, but that is with my friend Anna. And that actually, I came out as gay publicly in that song. At the end of the music video, I kissed a boy and raised a pride flag. And I just posted the clip on my Instagram. I was like, I'm gay. And then I put a little paragraph about my experience. But yeah.
I just want to normalize a boy singing about another boy in music. This is part of a quote of yours. For yourself, why is it important for you to have your music represent your sexuality and to talk about same-sex relationships in your music? Why is that important for you?
Well, I will just start with the gay agenda. That's something I believe in. I will believe in pushing anyway. I mean, I grew up in a very conservative and like extremist religious household. So I've had a negative experience with like my identity and accepting myself and just the view on gay people. I just didn't have any sort of representation myself. Not only was it not given to me or allowed to give to me, like I also didn't see it enough. And when I started releasing music, I noticed I had like this huge gay, obviously I knew I was going to like coming out as gay and like releasing music and talking about boys. I knew I was going to have this huge, a bigger, queer audience. And after seeing that and like seeing like all these messages, like all the DMs, especially like after my EP, the response I got was awesome. And people, they really loved it. And they felt like a lot of them told me they felt like represented, and I don't know, it inspired me. And I really wanted to. I mean, every song I release, I want representation. For queer people. We're still slowly normalizing it. And that's my goal, is to normalize it completely and queer people to feel comfortable in different spaces.
And representation matters.
Oh, absolutely, it matters. Yeah.
So you started releasing music in 2021. Obviously, you would have been recording these tracks, I'm assuming, in 2020 during a global pandemic. You started talking about this earlier. Talk to me about what it was like for you mentally to be recording during a global pandemic. Like, were you concerned about things at all? Were you apprehensive? How did you go into the process of recording your music during COVID-19?
That's a great question. Yeah, absolutely. I was apprehensive. I do work a job where I see many people, and my job didn't slow down. Obviously made modified operations because of COVID-19. And obviously I was, doing all the safe things I could, but it was interesting every time before so I networked, obviously. I worked with a first producer, named Malone. And before I would go to their session, I would make sure I first off ask if they have any COVID symptoms and how they're feeling, and if they've been around a lot of people, and like make sure that they're being safe. And this was before vaccinations, so it wasn't easy. Like, are you vaccinated? Like, there's a lot of little loops you had to go through. But I would ask them those questions, and then they'd ask me those questions, and I'd meet up with them, and then I would see them multiple times a week, and it was kept a very, very tight, small circle. So it was just me. Pretty much, I was only seeing him, and like one friend during COVID, for a bit. And it was like in the beginning when I was first recording music. And then, I met another producer, and it was the same deal. Like, any symptoms? Like, are you like being safe? And it was like, we're reciprocated. Are you being safe? I'm like, of course I am.
It sounds like you're hooking up.
Yeah, it does. It kind
Are
of
you
does.
being safe? No, I don't know. Are you?
That's funny.
Are you on PrEP? Oh my God.
Yeah, are you? That's funny. Oh God. But yeah. So just like making sure that people are healthy and being smart about it. So that's kind of how it was kind of tiptoeing.
And now, and as we're recording this interview, for yourself recording new music now, has it changed, or are you still, asking those questions? Are you still, working it as if you're still in the pandemic?
I definitely am still, I use safety precautions still. I have a fear of germs myself, so I tend to be, still cautious about these, these kind of things. With new people I've been working with, again, now we have vaccines, obviously. And a lot of people here are vaccinated. It's more common than not. So, making sure that they're vaccinated. Obviously, I'm vaccinated, and that we're being safe. It's pretty much the same, I would say, except there's a little, for me, I have a less,
you're less paranoid, maybe.
Yeah, less fear, for sure. But it's been around the same thing.
Did it kind of make you feel crazy, though, when you were going through it? It's like,
Dude,
here's little crazy Nicky. Hi, I'm here to sing.
I know.
It's safe.
Right. Those are very personal questions. It's just like, I have to remember, and just in general, like going through a pandemic. I never thought I was going to go through a pandemic. Life has completely changed for everyone. And it's hard for people to really grasp that. I don't blame them. It's crazy. I never thought I'd have to do any of what I'm doing. And at work, at times at my day job, first it was like, we have a mask mandate here. We also have a vaccination mandate. So if you are sitting and eating, or you're dining in, you have to have your vaccination card, and you have to show us, or you have to have a 72-hour negative COVID test. And having to ask people the personal information, yeah, it's for safety, and I think it's a great thing, but objectively, people don't want to, most people don't really want to show their medical information to me. And it's caused some conflict, but it's been a ride. Let's put it at that.
So, speaking of crazy, one of your tracks is called Lunatic. Talk to me about this track and what this track is all about.
This track was very fun to write. Honestly, the track to be very transparent, it was just a really fun song to write. I had a little inspiration. I've had experiences myself and seen experiences of people who have gone through some mental difficulty and emotional difficulty with mental health. And that's partially where I got the inspiration to write it, but it was just a very fun song to write in general, and it just was a cool concept, and something I had very vivid in my mind. And I went to the studio, recorded it, it was almost done the first session. Then I started conceptualizing the music video, so it was very fun. It was just overall a light, fun song to write.
I think I hear these people talking about me, whispering like God, they really.
And on that musical note, we will return after this Rainbow Country update.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tewksbury, Olympic champion, leader, humanitarian. You're listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
Canada's LGBTQ2+ archives just released Out North, an archive of queer activism and kinship in Canada. Order a copy from your local bookstore to dive into hundreds of loud and proud stories and photos of historical queer life in Canada from pre-1939 to today. Get your copy from your local bookstore. Out North, an archive of queer activism and kinship in Canada.
Hi, my name is Joanne Vanicola, and I'm an actor and a writer, and I was first on Rainbow Country with Mark Tara on discussing the massacre at Pulse Club in Orlando. I realized how important it was for our community to have a radio station, specifically for our issues, to talk about people in the LGBTQ community and to provide an outlet for our stories, to discuss our politics, culture, and give voice to the issues that matter to us. And of course our artists and the things that we do globally and talk about culture. And without people like Mark Tara providing a space for this with a radio show like this, then we wouldn't have that voice. So support, tune in. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Keegan Hurst, former professional rugby player, coach, raving homosexual, and you're listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
For me, it's interesting because in these days and times, you can whip out your smartphone and you can record something and put it out there and it blows up as a video, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that more artists don't necessarily, when they're releasing music videos, when they're releasing singles, they're not necessarily also releasing music videos. But for yourself, music videos seem to be important for you. Talk to me about why. I'm
very creative visually. I've always had, I love photography, videography. It's something I like. I don't practice it as much myself. It's something I admire. And, I'm very visual. I love colors. It's crazy. Every time I record a song in the studio and I listen to the bounce on the way home, I almost always have like an idea or like a song idea or song seed or video seed for, I would say, for like the music video. Like I always have something. I'm just very vivid. So when I hear something, sonically, I would say transpose it into some vivid imagery for a video. So I think that's why I like the videos. And also I think not only is it good artistically and creatively for me to like come up with videos and work with other people and like, I have a great team. Not only is that important, but also when you're releasing music, you want to make sure you have multiple assets. Just statistically, music and your songs will stream better if you do have other assets, and it's better for marketing and advertising.
You're very big on marketing and advertising.
Yes.
How did you come to this realization, and what sort of what platforms do you use?
So, it was something that I've always knew that was important. I guess it was just something innately, and like I just knew that advertising is important. Also, my friend Anna, agrees obviously with me, and we have helped each other so much for advertising and finding new ways and finding the best platform. I'm actually, me and Anna actually share the same platform for our music advertising. It's called Toned In. It's excellent. You can see all the data, the metadata, and it's so good. I've had a really good experience with it. It's great response for my videos. I can see what works and what doesn't. So, and
as an independent artist, would you recommend that for other independent artists?
I would absolutely recommend it. It is, you pay monthly or you can pay one-time fee. So how it works is that you can have multiple people under one account. So I would recommend only if you can afford it. I don't pay that monthly rent. Anna is actually the one, and her dad are the ones who actually initially started the subscription to Toned In. So they could, and then I was like, oh, and they were like, oh, we can actually put you under, our account. So I don't pay them for the subscription. They were willingly let me on their account, which is really awesome. But if you can afford it, I recommend Toned In for sure. Also, Instagram is great for advertising as well. You can advertise your posts and other stuff other content like that.
So you are part of the LGBT community. You're an openly gay man. I'm interested to know, for yourself, do you consider yourself gay or do you consider yourself queer?
I would consider myself gay. Queer is like an umbrella term for the LGBTQ community. Obviously, queer means a lot of different things. Used to be something negative, but I feel like we turned that word around and just used it to identify ourselves, which is awesome. But yeah, I would describe myself as a gay man.
I find that a lot of people, I think, use the term queer in a political sense, like it's as you said, an umbrella term that represents them, but more so their politics. That stands. So I'm always interested to ask people, do they consider themselves queer or gay or lesbian or what have you?
I would say I have classified myself as queer in different conversations. When I talk about general queer validity, the word queer works really well because you have they, thems, gays, you have trans people, you have lesbian people, you have bisexual. It's a huge spectrum. It goes on and on. So using the word queer is really a real good way to catch all of them. Exactly. Capture all of them.
For yourself, when did you start recognizing your same-sex attraction, your gayness, so to speak?
My gayness. I was very young. I knew I was see, obviously, it doesn't happen as prominent, as young, when you start puberty, it's when you really start noticing it. But I noticed, I'm just I dated, so I was openly, quote unquote, heterosexual. I was openly straight for a long time, until I was 19, 20. So there was a lot of girls I dated, and I had to fabricate attraction and love for them. Obviously I have love in my heart for these people I've dated, obviously 100%. But I can't fall in love with a woman. I've tried, obviously. So I noticed I was just different at a young age, probably around 8 or 9. I noticed mainly. And then when I was 12 and 13, I was oh, okay. But whenever someone asks me these questions, I usually easily say, oh, I've known since I was little. Mm-hmm. But there's been ups and downs of when I really was sure and when I wasn't. Mm-hmm. It was a ride.
So I find this interesting. You said you were openly straight in high school. You had a number of girlfriends. Were you in the closet?
Yeah, I was in the closet until I came out as gay and thirsty. Besides coming out to my close friends, it was only a select few people The number didn't like go over like 5, 6 really. And then I came out to came out publicly and it was very bold.
And
the way I did.
And for yourself, why didn't you feel you could be your authentic self in school?
There was a lot of homophobia. I had a lot of homophobic friends, and I dealt with it because I was trying to compensate for the fact that I was gay, and trying to really sell the straight image. And also like my family. I mean, growing up in coming out to my mom was the hardest thing I think I've ever done, and it didn't go well. I grew up in an environment where it wasn't okay to be gay. We couldn't talk about being gay. Like, you couldn't talk about gayness. You couldn't talk about queerness, like nothing. And if you did, you get in trouble. Like, that's the environment I was in. So going into any other space, I just didn't feel comfortable ever being myself until, going through more experiences and realizing like, what's the difference in me like coming out now than in 15 years? More pain and more sadness. So I did.
And when did you come out? Like, what year?
2020. I think it was 20. Yeah, hold on. If I started, I think it was late. I honestly think it was late December or early January. I think that is when I came out. So either it was late 2020 or early 2021.
Wow, so this is really recent for you.
Yes.
And you mentioned about coming out to your friends. I'm assuming that went well?
Yes, it went very well. They were very supportive, which means the entire world to me. Even friends I didn't expect to be supportive. So it's been a really good experience with my friends.
And coming out to your mom, I guess she has some very strong beliefs, like religious beliefs.
Yes, very passionate about them.
And that didn't go well. Do you mind talking about this?
I would maybe try to refrain a little from it, just because it's a little sad. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate you asking.
So what's the relationship like today with your mom?
We don't have one.
Do you think down the road you would like to?
That's really up to her.
Ultimately, yeah.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of things that you would need to see. There's a lot of things I need to see from her. So, that's just how it is, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going back to your music, another one of your tracks, Boy Crazy, you have some very interesting looks in the music video. Was that fun to shoot?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it was so fun. It was such a magical shoot. I had the best. So I worked with Girl Brand Productions, the same people who did Moon Boy. At the time it was Gemma, and now it's Girl Band Production. It's a whole PA team. They have a whole production team, so it was awesome. But it was so amazing. We actually used Anna's house as a set. She has like a bigger house, so we used her house. I got my friend to do my special effects makeup. We had the entire team. We had a whole production assistant, so we had set design, we had costume design. It was amazing, and it was super fun and magical, and it was with people I love very much. I wish I could redo it all over again. And those same visuals, like coming from, normal me to like devil me, that was like one of those moments I was talking to you about, conceptualizing like vivid imagery. That was my idea for the video. I wanted to implement it. So it was just a great time. Very fun. The makeup started sweating off at one point though, okay. But because I was jumping everywhere.
Are you a big sweater?
No, not really. At the time
you were just working it.
I was working.
Okay.
I was giving my 110%.
Girl was working. So
Girl was working.
this song, Boy Crazy, what's the song about?
Falling for someone way too fast. I felt crazy when I was falling for a boy, and I was falling really fast, and I felt crazy, but it turns out I was boy crazy. So I wrote a song about it. Yeah,
Are you still with this boy?
I'm not with the same. No, I'm not.
Okay, but you are in a relationship, correct?
I am in a relationship. Yes.
And how did the two of you meet?
On a dating app, and
Okay.
I wasn't expecting what I expected, but I'm extremely just in love with my boyfriend right now. So I'm very happy. It's going great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what does he think of your music?
He loves it.
Yeah.
He's so supportive, which is super important. Obviously, I mean, supporting me as a person, supporting my music is, just like supporting me generally. He's amazing.
Is he musically inclined at all?
Is my music what?
Is your boyfriend musically inclined at all?
He tells me that he can't sing, but I swear to God, he can sing, and he will jokingly sing in front of me. I'm like, oh, that was actually kind of good. And he just refuses to he won't tell me. I'm convinced that he can sing, but not that I know of.
Okay. So my last question for you, when people listen to your music, is there a message? Is there a takeaway that you want your listening audience to come away with after listening to your music?
I want my audience to, first of all, dance and enjoy my music because it's very dancey. I want them to enjoy it. The second thing, and this is targeted towards my queer audience, I want them to feel like hot and represented and sexy because that's how everyone should feel. And that's pretty much it.
Well said, well done, and well recorded. Some good, fun music.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Honestly, it's been awesome. Great questions. I loved talking with you. It's been great.
Dun 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 yeah dun 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 yeah. You better know I have a fake crush on you. You better know I wanna make you.
For more on this artist, check out his website, NickyBuell.com.
Hi, I'm writer Adam Smith, author of Deep Sniff, A History of Poppers and Queer Futures. You're listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
And just like that, this little gay journey through Rainbow Country has come to an end. For the full 2-hour episode, head over to marktara.com where everything is connected and hit the archive banner. Don't forget to keep up to date with the show. Follow me on socials at Mark Tara. The podcast is available on all major platforms. Finally, I want to take this time to thank you for taking your time to be with me. Remember, stay well and stay safe.
Hi, this is Police Constable Danielle Botno, also known as LGBT Cop, and you're listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.